Game Journos are not happy with this. Kotaku's editor-in-chief is resigning after a new editorial edict where apparently Kotaku staff were expected to create 50 guides a week. 50 guides! These writers don't want to write those, and people celebrate their demise. One writer blames it on capitalism. Okay, commie. One writer complained that some harassment campaigns get no attention compared to getting coins on Mario 64. You get coins by walking to them, just like in every Mario game ever made. There, I made one article for you. 49 more to go, Game Journos. Oh yeah, I remember that there are plenty of writers in Kotaku, so if there are 10 writers, they just need to make 5 guides a week. Could be worse. You could be posting 2 to 3 videos per week and 3 shorts per day. I'm not a Game Journo, so I can't relate. Regardless, good luck, Journos. Yeah, Game Journos are not having a good day. I mean, if you ask me, I'll gladly write guides to games that I thoroughly examine. I know a lot of tips and tricks for the original Resident Evil 4. I can make like 50 plus partial guides for that game. If I'm writing with a team, that should cover 5 weeks worth of work. But aside from Game Journos, there's one more demographic that is struggling that I think is more significant to the gaming industry, and that is game developers.
Developers.
I feel bad for game devs right now. There are lots of layoffs from the big corporations, and the people are not happy with the paradigm shift. And with the Game Developers Conference, the game devs decide to do a... what did Joker call it again?
Group therapy sessions in broad daylight.
You know what? I kind of feel like I want to join. Why do you always make live service garbage? Why can't you treat these developers right? Why can't you let these talented developers actually make great games for us to play? The reason they do this is because it's a moment of catharsis. I guess I can see why. Others are more pragmatic and say, hey, if we have all these talented devs in one place, I think we should put them to better use instead. I can't disagree with that either. But yeah, the gaming industry screws devs as much as it screws customers. We found our own ways to cope by reminiscing about the good old days. I hope you guys find yours, even if you have to scream and shout like that. For real though, I feel bad for game developers, especially those that grew up playing all sorts of amazing games and decided to join the industry, only to get screwed by greedy corporations. No, it's not capitalism to blame. It's greedy people in power abusing the system to their advantage. Speaking of developers, let's talk about this one. I can sympathize with game devs, but not all of them. This person was hired by EA to make a Black Panther game. The problem is that she is negatively biased towards white people, to say the least. Her last game, Validate, has a goal where white people are added at $32,000 and removed at $100,000. I don't understand why game companies hire these blatantly hateful individuals. Some allegations were also being made by their former partner. This person said that she strived to make the team safe, but then she wrote "screw white people" on the graphic of the character that they designed. It's about as blatantly racist as you can get. But she had to backpedal and say that it's because the team is mostly non-white. Sorry, but I don't see why all that justifies you being a hateful bigot. The team doesn't feel safe with you going around hating a whole demographic. I don't care how justified it is. That level of hate doesn't make people safe. I'm not white, and even I wouldn't feel safe. There are more hooplas coming up on this video, but before we get to all those, I want to say that this video is brought to you by all these wonderful people. You guys are fantastic. If you want to see your names among these legends, then check out the links down below. Just $1, and you have supported this channel immensely. Seriously, thank you so much. And now, let's talk about more diversity nonsense. Apparently, diversity haters say these things.
Games should look and feel realistic.
Nope, not all games.
They shouldn't realistically depict different kinds of people who really exist.
Also, not all games.
They should be an escape, but only for white dudes.
I never said that, and if that's true, I, as a non-white person, wouldn't be able to play games. If you feel like it's only for white people, that says more about you than the diversity haters.
It's not worth actually arguing with rabid conspiracy theorists.
Glad we're in agreement, rabid conspiracy theorists.
Bro, we play games too. That's why we're here and want to see ourselves and others.
Oh, and a spice of narcissism too. Why do you want to see yourselves in games? This person says, why would you make Superman gay? He's not part of the LGBT community.
Why can't he be part of that 1.6%?
The same way Starman or Jonathan Kent, the new one, cannot be part of the 98.4%. That being said, in fandom, pair Clark Kent Superman with any guy you like. Go nuts. I feel like I need to clarify to people that diversity is not the problem. It's focusing too much on diversity that is the problem. The term diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, is a sign that you're focusing way too much on it when you could have spent that focus on interesting characters, backstories, treating people like people. So instead of me yelling about diversity all over again, let me show you how to do it. This is how you do representation correctly. In case you all missed it, I'm Indonesian. I know how good it feels to see my people represented in Hollywood. I watched John Wick Chapter 3 in the theaters, and when Keanu Reeves was sparring against Cecep Arif Rahman and Yayan Ruhian, and then they spoke Indonesian, I could hear the audiences in my theaters gasp. That moment is hard to replicate, and I want to go back in time to experience it again. But here's the thing, they're not there because we begged for them. They're there because they were in 2 awesome movies that kick absolute ass. Some of the cast of those movies star in plenty of other roles in Hollywood, including Fast and Furious 6, John Wick Chapter 3, and even Star Wars. Even if they are utterly wasted there. People should stop begging for representation. Start working to earn them. Begging for them and getting them will never be as satisfying as actually working hard for them and seeing our hard work pay off. This is why I hate representation and diversity beggars. They beg for representation, but they don't work hard for it or do something that makes them recognized for their work. What I absolutely hate the most about them is that they are never pleased. Let me repeat that. Diversity beggars are never pleased. Here's a collage of non-white characters in gaming. 145 characters, 115 are playable, 15 leading roles, over 60 from AAA games, and Miles Morales is removed out of spite. What more do you guys need?
Around 9 to 10k games are released a year. Your collage spans 30 years. You're making my point for me.
Hold on, am I hearing this right? How is having non-white characters in gaming for 30 plus years not a good thing? What more do you need?
You can't name any AAA multi-fame franchise with a black lead. Miles Morales is literally the only one.
Move that goalpost further, douchebag. Crysis has profit in all the games. Telltale's Walking Dead has non-white protagonists in all games. A lot of fighting games have black characters that have their own stories if you chose them. Why does it have to be a multi-fame franchise with a black lead? The more these people focus on race or any sorts of identity, the less we're focusing on actually making good stuff. I hate these diversity beggars. They are narcissists to an insane degree. It's even more insane that this kind of narcissism is acceptable and even encouraged. I can never agree on this. This one is just plain narcissism. Apparently, you can play as women in Rise of the Ronin. Cool, right?
Why would anyone want to play a samurai game as a girl, realistically speaking?
Screw realism, playing as girls is fun.
I'm a guy. I'm assuming you are too. I just can't get immersed playing as a female char.
Wait, is this about realism or is this about your personal immersion? Make up your mind!
When I create a character, I want that character to be me.
Oh, another narcissist. I mean, I get wanting to play as yourself in a game, that's just personal preference. I've done that as well. But I didn't go to people who play as someone else and talk about how much I play as myself. Also, you crossed the line when you had the word me in all caps. Seriously, what's that all about? I don't mind you guys playing as a guy or a girl for whatever reason. Go nuts. I do, however, mind if you decide to play as this kind of character archetype. Oh man, this again.
Accepting the existence of magic in a fantasy setting should not be easier than accepting the existence of disabled people in a fantasy setting.
Disabled people exist in fantasy settings all the time. They just don't use wheelchairs in dungeons because it's stupid. What if you have to climb up the dungeon? Are you gonna use magic to fly? Why can't you just use magic to fly all the time and ditch the wheelchair? Why can't you heal the disability with magic? I was wheelchair bound and even I don't want this garbage. Give me Barbara Gordon all day.
If you have an opinion on wheelchairs in fantasy role-playing games that isn't neat, or representation matters, kindly keep it to yourself because you're either ignorant or a complete jackass.
First off, it's not neat, it's dumb. Second, representation does not matter. Only narcissists think so. And third, you are ignorant of how the wheelchair makes no sense in a dungeon, and you're a total jackass with zero creativity if you think disabled people should be represented this way. And finally, let's end this hoopla with a recommendation. I have recommended you guys the Raid 1 and 2 already. If you haven't seen them, seriously, go check them out. Now, I would like to recommend this to you. There's this new anime called Gushing Over Magical Girls, which Anime News Network called called the anime made by people attracted to kids. It was corrected as slanderous by community notes. I read a couple of chapters of the manga. It's Sailor Moon with BDSM. I really love the protagonist. She doesn't want to be a villain, and yet she enjoys every second when she does. Her passion for being utterly sadistic toward the magical girls makes the manga a surprising page-turner. It's actually a pretty good read, especially when it's not afraid to not only further the plot, but also introduce more depth and complexity to the story to make the magical girl routine more interesting. I actually highly recommend it. I don't see how this appeals to people who are attracted to kids. The characters don't look like kids, except if you're not familiar with anime and how the characters are designed. It's not hard for me to ignore the BDSM stuff and focus on the story, but if it is for you, then that's your problem. And that's all for the video today. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe for more. Don't forget to check out my stream channel, link down below. Go subscribe. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.